Income taxes. Subchapter A, determination of tax liability. Or qualified foreign corporations. Timmy.
I was thinking I'd take Code Section 179 depreciation on my bicycle. Is that smart?
Welcome back to the set of Thrive America. I'm joined by Dr. Tim Langley, a local chiropractor. And Dr. Tim, you've been a fan here. We do something called Improvistorm. And we did an Improvistorm for your business, which was a lot of fun. And maybe we can talk about that a little bit later. But Dr. Tim, your next point, which is something that really no one has touched on, which is our bodies. And how you mentioned here being healthy, vital, and strong. How is that a principle to thrive in this economy and beyond?
Brent, I do a lot of work with entrepreneurs. And the one thing that I found about entrepreneurs is that they put all their money, all their time, all their effort into their business first, and then they take care of themselves last. But the truth of the matter is, and you know this from having your own business, if you don't feel good, if you're not at the top of your game, then you're not going to give your clients, you're not going to be able to give your clients the very best that you have. Now, I've seen you work, and I know that you work long hours and you work hard and you're dedicated. But the truth of the matter is, if you're run down, if you're hurting or sick, you just simply can't do the work that you need to do. So I encourage people to understand that they were designed to be strong and powerful and able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. But that takes conditioning, it takes effort. Our default is towards strength and power. But we, as entrepreneurs, allow ourselves to get run down, and then we can't do the job that we need to do. So I encourage people to, eat right, exercise, get some good, restful sleep, and obviously see a chiropractor on a regular basis. But there are lots of things that folks can do to stay healthy and stay strong, and I think that's a vital part of thriving, both in life and in business.
I know I've heard you mention our body is such an amazing miracle, and it's, like you said, capable of doing so much and replenishing itself and healing itself and things of that nature. And if you guys get a chance and in this area, go see Dr. Tim, spend some time with him and learn about a lot of the values and principles that you bring to the table as a client. Okay, Dr. Tim, this is an exciting section for me because I want you to talk about your next principles, market like crazy, and talk about some of the things that I've seen you do at the Chamber and some of the things I've seen you do online. Walk me through this principle, if you will.
You have to stand out in business. And to do that, you have to stand up, and you have to stand for something. You mentioned earlier, you've seen me stand up in a chair at the Chamber of Commerce. Well, the last thing that anybody expects at the Chamber of Commerce is for a doctor to stand up in his chair and to preach his message. But you've been in some of those same meetings, and when you've got 60 or 80 people with 30 seconds to give their presentation, it all just blends in. I just simply believe that if you want people to choose you, you've got to give them a reason. If you want people to remember you, you've got to do something memorable. The last thing I want to do when I make a presentation is for someone to be looking at their BlackBerry or checking their message or thinking about what they're going to be talking about. I want them listening to me. And whether that's in a group presentation or whether it's online or whether it's on Facebook or whatever, I want to slap them and get their attention so that I at least have a chance for them to hear my message.
Yeah, I think so much emphasis has been placed on having a good business plan and having a good product and a good service, but as an entrepreneur, you've got to be attractive and you've got to stand out and you've got to have some kind of, I won't say gimmick, but you've got to think of something and do something that's people will remember you by. In talking, you mentioned a little bit about Facebook and some social media, and as a society, we merge to this social media world, and a lot of other guests have talked about how now marketing is more of a conversation and less than putting an ad on a billboard. I know that's still effective, but some of the things I've seen you do online, can you walk our fans through and me through some of the strategies that you've learned and are now kind of implementing on social media?
I'm still learning, and I'm in my middle 50s, and this is quite an adventure because a lot of people my age are still inclined to advertise in print media and that sort of thing. And the truth of the matter is the internet has opened the world up tremendously. I'm still learning about this social networking thing, but one thing that I've learned from having lots of friends is that you can talk to your friends about what you do without having to sell them anything. And then when they come across someone who has a need, they say, oh, you need to call my friend Dr. Tim. Well, the great thing about Twitter and Facebook and the entire social media thing is that it gives you the opportunity to have a discussion, a conversation, if you will, with a lot of people, hundreds of people, and you don't have to sell anything to them. You're just sharing yourself with them. And so if you do that in a way that creates an awareness of who you are and what you are, and at the same time a respect for that, then when they have a need, they're going to remember you. And it's funny because the last several new clients I've had came from Facebook. So, and like I said, I'm still learning that whole thing. But, you know, doing what you do, you know that it's all about content. So I try to just put information out there that's helpful, that's inspiring, that it doesn't scare people. That's a problem that I find in my industry, whether it's in chiropractic or medicine. Everybody's trying to scare people into getting into their office, or they're selling them. People are tired of being sold. There are plenty of people out there that want to buy. They're just looking for someone that they can trust to buy from.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do.
I think for me, and one of the things I kind of struggle with social media is finding a balance, because I think you can't put all of your eggs in the social media basket, because there's still something to be said about even print media, printing up flyers, attending networking events, doing some traditional advertising along with social media. And I'm just kind of revealing that I struggle with that, and I'm still, like you mentioned, you're trying to find the niche on the social networks, and I think we all are. I think we're all learning how we fit in that arena. But I think, to me, what I've learned, or what I'm learning, is that I need to create a balance. I need a network. I need to keep going to. I can't be behind my computer on Twitter and Facebook all day. But through my phone, maybe I can update my Facebook pages and things like that. We've got a few minutes left here, Dr. Tim, for guerrilla marketing, and this is your last Thrive point here. What do you mean by guerrilla marketing and so forth?
One of the greatest concepts in business that I ever came across was this guerrilla marketing thing, and it was designed for small business owners and professionals to market themselves in a way that they maximize their exposure while minimizing their financial investment. And that could be having good business cards, it could be having a magnet on your car, it could be the social networks, it could be, there's so many free ways that you can promote yourself. And really it's a high-touch, low-cost way. And it's really an opening your mind to all the possibilities. Now, the fellow that termed the concept, his thought was a guerrilla warfare situation where you have someone hiding in the jungle and you can't see them because they're camouflaged, and they're like a sniper. They know exactly what they're after, and so they pinpoint their target and they go for that instead of just broadly advertising to everybody and hoping that that one person comes to them. So you almost become a sniper for your business, hiding and looking and being available so that they could step on the booby trap and all of a sudden be your customer. Not that you're tricking them, but you're using your guile and knowledge of the market, knowledge of your market to attract the specific people that you want.
Great analogy, Dr. Tim. Wow, I could visualize that. So Dr. Tim, thanks. We're going to bring you right back for our final segment, our final moment with you in just a moment.